Hallelujah. Giving, hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up, I will lift up my voice to heaven and give you the highest praise. Hallelujah to my King. Hallelujah to my Father. Hallelujah to my Jesus. I bow before the throne. When I look at all the wonder and I see all the creation, the beauty of the universe, you never, never change. You never, never lie. You never, never change. You never, never change. Hallelujah to my Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Hey, hey. Hallelujah. Giving. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah.
Welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. As usual, I'm Alfonso Z and Soul. This is your informative news magazine. The forum comes away every Tuesday right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. I want to welcome you this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Here is 12:46 Eastern Standard Time. Stay tuned. We're going to have a conversation here this morning, evening, to whatever time it is. Jehovah. And this is by Minister Bass. That's our opening song. Thank you. I'm going to be speaking to a young Liberian. He's based in Mount Gibby County. That's the leader of the economic group calling Effl, Economic Freedom Fighter out of Liberia.
I'm here to press my God because he gave me life. Come celebrate, come jubilate, come now worship him. He deserves the praise. Hallelujah, giving the higher praise. Hallelujah, giving the higher praise.
Hallelujah, giving the higher praise.
I don't care how tough it is, so we got to give in the higher praise. We are in a very tough time, very consequential time, and I personally believe God is our rescue right now. What is unfolding in Liberia is quite interesting. So in the midst of good and bad, we have to give in the higher praise, all right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah to my Jesus. Hey, hallelujah. Hey.
All right, good morning, good afternoon. As usual, I'm Alfonso Z and Soul of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. That's brought informative, objective news reporting and fair balance, where we give you, the audience, our participant, the ability to express and speak your views. But remember, whatever expressed on this network is no way in form or shape represent the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio. We are just here to serve as a facilitator, to give you the voice to speak and talk on things about our country. But remember, it must be done with civility, all right? Then we can have the conversation that is needed. Well, Emmanuel Gonquoi is a group calling itself the Economic Freedom Fighter. I spoke with him during the heat of the 2017 presidential elections and so forth and on. But he's going to be appearing. Our understanding, he has been denied. He told us here he was contesting for the senatorial race of Mount Gibby County, Republic of Liberia. So where does the EFL, the Economic Freedom Fighter, the group calling itself Economic Freedom Fighter, Where do they stand now, and what his political future holds? CRC Emmanuel Gonquoi is the commander-in-chief of this group. Quite interesting. I'm going to be hosting it very shortly here. But as usual, Liberia Public Radio, in collaboration with the African Star newspaper, the only electronic newsstand here in the USA, also collaborate to bring you news, information, and entertainment. In today's editions of the commentary, we're going to be having a commentary here in today's editions of this program, joined later by Liberia Public Radio and the African Star newspaper. We're going to be bringing this to you. Just hold on a little bit, and now we're going to get this commentary out here very shortly. And we hope that you will be entitled "The Fragilities of Liberia's National Security Remains an Issues of National Concern for Citizens, Neighboring Countries, and the International Community." Let's go to today's editions of the commentary of the African Star newspaper in collaboration with the Liberia Public Radio. I am Alfonso Zienso, and I will be right back.
Here is an African Star news commentary entitled "Liberia, Reject Violence by Holding Perpetrators Accountable." The fragility of Liberia's national security remains an issue of national concern for citizens, neighboring countries, and the international community. Today, African Star joins the loud chorus of voices from everywhere who are calling for respect for the safety of every citizen, regardless of political ideology and affiliation. Over the weekend, we witnessed another incident of unprovoked attack on the residence of lawmaker Yeke Koluba of Montserrat County. The aftermath of the attack showed damaged vehicles, looting, and a ransacked interior of his residence. Representative Koluba has accused the Liberian president and his security forces and some members of the ruling party of being behind what has been described as his attempted murder because of his vocal stance and challenge to President George M. Weah. The lawmaker is on record as reporting these prior attacks against him, but no concrete actions have been forthcoming from the Liberian authorities. These ongoing attacks at various times have not been addressed by the Liberian government. Last August, in the heat of District 15 campaigning, supporters and candidate Talia Uri of the All Liberia Party were violently attacked and property damaged. Around the same time, the headquarters of the opposition Liberty Party were attacked and a senior Liberian National Police official assaulted, allegedly on orders of the city mayor of Monrovia, who is also a youth leader of the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change. In late July, the leader of the opposition collaborating political party CPP, Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, and delegation came under life-threatening attacks in southeastern Grand Jide County, Liberia. In August and September, opposition lawmaker Abraham Darius Dillon was attacked by stone-throwing individuals. Moreover, violence erupted at the primary of the opposition CPP in the provincial county of Nimba, and injuries were inflicted on a number of people. At the same time, reports of elections-related violence continue to surface in other parts of Liberia. African Star is deeply concerned because no investigation of these acts of violence have been concluded, nor anyone held to account. This is a blatant dereliction of duty and failure of the national government of Liberia to uphold its responsibility of providing security for citizens. Liberia has a shameful history of violence in recent memory. A 1980 coup d'etat, murder of the civilian president and 13 of his officials by coup makers, execution of some coup makers in 1982 over a questionable coup attempt, an attempted coup in 1985 which devolved to targeted killings, unprecedented bloodletting during the 1990s in which an estimated 250,000 people died and over 1 million others were internally and externally dislocated, and the list goes on. The daily heated political rhetoric, acts of violence, open threats, and lack of leadership in healing divisions and reconciling the Liberian society are factors which are laying the basis for another unwanted conflagration. We wish to remind President Weah that the single and most important responsibility of a democratic government is to ensure peace and stability and the welfare of all of its citizens. In August, the AU, EU, ECOWAS, and the United Nations missions in Monrovia issued a joint statement in which they urged Liberian authorities to impartially investigate those culpable for violence and hold them accountable. It would interest these international bodies to note that Liberia's Ministry of Justice and Joint Security have no interest whatsoever in doing their duty of investigating acts of violence. This is wrong, unacceptable, and uncivilized. No Liberian or anyone residing in the country should have to live in a violent society because of incompetent and derelict governance. Absolutely no one. There are individuals in and out of government who are directly responsible for supporting, fomenting, and engaging in acts of violence that threaten and harm the safety of society and citizens, and they must be held accountable. African Star reminds the international community and those who have the clout to change the trajectory of violence in Liberia to act now. Do not avoid the deterioration of civil coexistence and violence in Liberia, because this position can and will lead to a response of violence begetting violence. We challenge the George Weah administration to take the most important step to help engage urgently needed dialogue with the opposition political parties, civic groups, and ordinary Liberians to reduce the rhetoric and restore confidence in the security sector of the West African nation. African Star warns that if the wave of violence and intimidation go unchecked, they have the potential to push Liberia into another unhealthy cycle of national crisis like those experienced in the country's bitter history. We also caution the national security sector, especially the Liberian National Police, to learn from factionalizing the force like the William R. Talbot, Samuel K. Doe, and Charles Taylor defunct regimes, and uphold their loyalty to the state instead of a ruling clique. We urge targeted punitive sanctions on individuals, including the leaderships of the Liberian National Police, the Ministers of Justice, Information, the National Legislature, courts and judges, the ruling party, and any other persons who are deemed responsible for the deteriorating security situation in Liberia. African Star remains committed to collectively working to promote accountability, peace, and civility in our discourse and the democratic space, and encourage President Weah and political leaders in Liberia to step up before it is too late. We believe that Liberia deserves better than a return to violence and lawlessness, and the way forward is to reject violence and uphold the rule of law. This news commentary is by the editorial staff of African Star.
There you have it. That's the commentary there from the African Star newspaper, and that of in collaboration with the Liberia Public Radio. We are always here to bring you news, information, and things that are really matter to the establishment and good governance in Liberia. So, folks, we want to thank you for being here very shortly. I hope my guest is going to be joining me. Emmanuel Gonquoi is the head of the Economic Freedom Fighter of the Republic of Liberia. I believe now. Let me see here. Hopefully to capture it. You're going to be here. There you go. It's about to get this going here. But the last time I believe I had a conversation with him was been a couple of months or more a year. Let's see here.
Because Liberians were angered before 1979. People use the anger to inflate more words. Today we are talking about answering a question of the 200 or 250,000 people of our country who lost their life.
Welcome to today's program. There he is. My guest is here joining me. I'm not sure. This afternoon. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel Gonquoi, can you unmute your mic? Let me see here. Is Emmanuel, are you there? Are you hearing me? Mr. Gonquoi, are you hearing me? All right. Okay, are you there? Are you getting me now? You gotta unmute that mic. Your mic is. Are you hearing me? Let me see. Okay, let me just get you off yet, and you can come back. Okay, just bear with us, folks. Let's see here. Let's just bear with us. Hopefully, he will get it right, and I'm going to be bringing him on. You know, the internet broadband is still a problem here. Let's go to here.
Accounted for today, because Liberians were angry against Castella. Today, Castella is saying in the Hague. Today, he's saying, so we have not been able to manage our anger in such a way that leads to national reform. So political leaders and political parties in Liberia have always said they are not in the interest of the people. They are in the interest of the
self. Here, Emmanuel, CRC of the Economic Freedom Fighter. How long you got to know this? I'm asking this question based on your alignment, because some of these political parties and these politicians who are not friends of mine because of their deceit and deception, their lack of interest of their country. Why then the Economic Freedom Fighter? Why you didn't ask all of these questions the June 7th? These are the same people, they are reinventing themselves, and they can't even take a position. They can't even put forward a solution. We have serious problem in the country. Don't get me wrong. Let me say, George, we are government. I have some bad policies, and there's a need that this government takes some a pragmatic approach to resurrect the darling and the ailing economy. But again, any protest that will call for the unseatings of the sitting president without them even putting forward any tangible reason, it is absurd. And we see the vice president, only Alexander Comey and the ANC, and they have smashed this guy here. So I just don't even believe how authentic these are. Unserious people. They're going to give for this mustard George Weah that they all helped to raise, and now they are not seeing their way through again. They are coming themselves now. They are going for me here. It is so ridiculous. Take it away.
Let me say this to you, Mr. Zion. America, our democracy in Liberia, we like to mallow it around America most time. Now, you think American people take lightly the abuse of power? They don't take it lightly. They don't take it lightly. They don't take the abuse of power by any president or any government official lightly in America. So the fact that the Democrats, who are the major opposition political party.
Okay, let me see here. Hopefully, I'm going to have not yet. Emmanuel, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
I'm getting you. I'm getting you.
Are you getting me now?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. Oh, I'm getting the feedback. Probably, maybe I need to call you on a WhatsApp number here. I really want us to have this video conversation, but the voice seems to be corrupted here already. Okay, Ty. Good evening and welcome.
I'm getting you live. I'm getting you live.
Okay. Probably I can. Yeah, that's the broadband situation in the country is just horrible. And that's the feedback is the feedback is very terrible from my end. Okay, let me see what I can call you on my WhatsApp number, and then probably I think that can be okay. Okay. Okay, the video version is not doing that good. Okay, let's see here if we can find another alternative to call Mr. Gonquoi, who is the CRC for the economic freedom fighter, and we're going to have this conversation. Let me just see here. I'm Afonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Just bear with us as we try to get this on the way. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. So probably let's see here. Let's see if we can get it done. Unfortunately, the video version can't work on the WhatsApp. So let me just do it by phone. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. So just disregard calling on the video. Just disregard calling on the video because I cannot get you in the video section. Is I just pull. So let's see if we can just get it done through the phone, and hopefully we can get this done. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get it done through the phone because the video for some reason it kept frozen and I couldn't get you. But are you hearing me now?
I'm getting you very clear, loud.
Okay, that's the man called CRC, the Economic Freedom Fighter of Liberia, Effl. Mr. Gonquoi, thank you so much for being here. Quite a long time. We have not had this conversation. It's good to have you here. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm fantastic. We've been quite busy trying to roll out our sleeves, for the 2020 political battle. So they've been challenging in the villages. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why we haven't been able to talk to our people through your medium. But once again, I'm glad that at least after a couple of weeks, month, we're having this conversation with our people through your medium.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And as usual, always unveiling yourself to be here. But quite a long while, I have not heard you out there publicly. Perhaps it is there, but I have not just been able to have access to that. So it's good to talk to you here. What is the political situation right now as far as we are concerned? EFL has been and is engaged in the process. At some point in time, you alluded on this network that EFL itself going to be deeply involved into the political process. How that process is playing out so far?
Well, I would say very challenging democracies right now in our country. I don't see, to some extent, a level playing field in the political space. The geopolitical arrangement of our country right now
I would say, appears to be tampered with, because people are trivializing the politics. There are people who looking at the politics on the basis of region, on the basis of county, on the basis of tribes. The political situation in the country is generously taking a downward trend, and I think it is one of the many reasons why we from the EFFL, try to change the dynamics, by getting involved. Unfortunately, we were not successful to have completed our registration process with the National Elections Commission. Even at the down minute of time, I attempted registering as independent candidate to compete, for the 2020 process. But the Elections Commission said I submitted my document 20 minutes late before the time. So on this account, we were denied, a space to participate in the democratic process. However, we remain resolute. We are focused on, the bigger picture, the 2023 agenda. Since indeed, the registration process did not allow us to feed candidates across the 15 county, we are now rolling out our sleeves, much more focus on ensuring that the party can be registered in the soonest possible time. We have had team going to the Elections Commission consistently during the week. There's a meeting planned with the Elections Commission on Wednesday of this week. So we are now, pushing the Elections Commission much more harder to ensure that we are certificated in October, so that we begin preparing for, the 2023 process, which we considered, a cradle, to a Liberia that we want to build, a Liberia that we all envision, as we speak our minds, express ourselves, and look at the country, and we all are, citizens of, so that's what we're doing right now.
Okay, well, thank you for such an elaborate and extensive talking point there. But you said the Election Commission did not allow you. But let's also establish the fact here. I guess, Mr. CRC, you knew the rules of the games in terms of the time frame, the guidelines set by NEC, NEC, to meet or submit all of your requirements. Was it done in isolation?
Well, that's the reason why, in our politics, we have been consistent that honesty is a hallmark, to leadership. We are not, shifting all of the blame on the Elections Commission, because we had our internal, arrangement. The Central Revolutionary Council of the party, as well as the leadership of the EFF in South Africa, they were very clear, that there needed to be an emblem of the EFFL on the ballot. So my going as independent was never an option. But when we realized that, the registration process of the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia as a full-fledged political party was creating so much delay, by the Elections Commission, I decided on the last day of the registration process to then register as independent candidate, because I needed a consensus, from the Central Revolutionary Council, and as well as the team in South Africa. So it was on the last day that we got the approval, and we were with registration. So I don't want to put 100% the blame on the Elections Commission, but I know that the Elections Commission should have done, what they ought to do in the given time, because we started the registration of the party almost 1 year ago. But they have been dragging their feet for whatever reason, they've been dragging their feet. So I don't want to be 100% negative, but at the same time, I believe the Elections Commission should have done, an expeditious work, when we started the registration process to allow us, free candidate across the 15 county. But I believe they were threatened, by, the Red Army, taking a very aggressive step to be in the parliament this year, and considering that the ruling establishment is pushing very hard, to maintain her influence in the democratic space, and then maintain power in 2023, would not allow such a radical political institution to have candidates emerging, in a midterm election that will serve as a major foundation to the elections in 2023. I mean, I will assume it is against this backdrop that it decided that we will not allow the EFF, to triumph in the registration process. It will create hollows. So because there were a lot of hollows created. So today, we have a situation where the economic freedom fighters of Liberia is not participating in the elections, but now our registration process is much more taking a speed. I can now say it's taking a speed because we are not in the process. So the registration process is not taking a speed. So there will be a meeting on Wednesday, to work along, with the team at the Elections Commission to conclude in the soonest possible time the registration process. So I don't want to be 100% negative, but I believe that they should have done something better than what they did.
Okay, let me just hold you there a little bit. CRC, we have had this conversation in the past, and it was on the same network. At the end, you express your political desire that you are going to be contesting. But what I'm hearing now, the tune seems to mean that the EFL or the executive or the Revolutionary Command, as you call it, drops the ball because you should have done everything to meet the timeline. That's how it appears to me.
Well, you have to be institutional. Part of the problems we have in the country is that we are not institutional. Even internal framework documents are not respected by political parties and actors. Being the president of the EFF does not in any way suggest that I own the EFF. The EFF is a political institution owned by the Liberian people. As far as the decree, that we submitted to the National Elections Commission is concerned, because the Elections Commission will always require that you submit a decree presenting the political institution to the people of Liberia. Even though political leaders who organize political parties turn out to not respect that decree, they made the political institution to be their personal property. I don't want to pursue that path because it is, I would say, a foundation to bad governance. Most of the time when you do that, you send out a clear indication that when you become a leader of the country, you will not respect the process. You will not respect, the governing architecture of the country. You will govern the country by your own, will. So I don't want to send out that message. So I have to listen to the Central Revolutionary Council and listen to the framework document we signed with the EFF in South Africa. So I would not agree with you fundamentally when you say the Central Revolutionary Council dropped the ball. We have to make a hard decision against the framework document we signed on the last day for me to complete the process and then contest our independent candidate because we have invested so much in the process in Maghibie County and more. And I will say to you, if you have a reporter here in Liberia, your reporter, you can ask a reporter about what we did in Maghibie County. We were clearly positioned to win the elections in Maghibie. And that's why all of the contending parties right now in the elections in Maghibie are reaching out for us to endorse, their candidacy, but institutionally, we have not reached an agreement to support anybody. Of course, I cannot make unilateral decision to support anybody when the institution internally has not mandated me to do so. So right now, we're sitting on the fence. We're planning right now a thank you rally, a thank you tour to tell our people thank you, for the show of support, because the people across Maghibie County, they were clear in their tone that they needed an institution like the EFF. They needed our leadership, to be able to put the executive branch of government feet to the fire. So I will not totally agree with you that the Central Revolutionary Council dropped the ball.
Okay, well, all right. Thank you. That's the voice of Mr. Emmanuel Gonquoi. He is the Commander-in-Chief, CRC, of a group in Liberia calling itself the Economic Freedom Fighter. All right, thank you. Fast forward. Let's move forward here. The process is on. From EFL as a pressure group has its own political wing, I guess, here. Do you trust the current process that should be taking place December 8th by the Election Commission?
Given what I saw, during the Vola Road update, given that people were talking and nothing came from the National Elections Commission to even condemn the situation, given that there were instances where people got arrested by the police, one person carrying 3 voter cards. I do not trust the process. And we from the EFFL do not trust the process. And that's what I said in my intro, that the current democratic space has been polluted, with lots of variables that I would say are anti-democratic. So we don't trust the process at all.
So if the process is not trusted, then what is your recommendation?
Well, we will recommend to the larger extent, that the voter roll be cleaned up. There must be a vigorous cleanup exercise of the voter roll. You cannot go to elections where the voter roll is not clean. You can't go to a process where people truck people and there's no clear information on the voter roll, and then you are going through a process. Now, so if the Elections Commission want to ensure a free, fair, and transparent democratic process, that will usher in 15 new senators of our country, in January, the Elections Commission, should demonstrate the utmost honesty to clean the voter roll. And that should be done in the process of stakeholders, so that everybody get some level of confidence that the process will be free and fair. Mind you, the 2020 elections serve as a pillow, for a free and fair, transparent elections in 2023. So that would be the recommendation that we will make, because democracy usually builds a nation or destroy a nation.
So for discussion purposes, the issue of this voter roll, and you will agree with me, in the last elections, this was the same thing that we talked about. And the Supreme Court of Liberia mandated NEC to have this done. And everybody went to bed sleeping soundly. Here we are in the injury and strapped time. The 103 men and women in both houses of government, and I'm quite sure there is a committee with oversight responsibilities on elections and all of that. I'm not sure how extensive this group to call in the NEC to make sure that the mandate of the Supreme Court they are executed. It seems to me that wasn't the case, and here we are now. We are going into the process. So, is EFL supporting the electoral process or not?
Well, let me say this. The Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia is a democratic institution. So we believe in the elections. In fact, that's why all of our positions in the elections in our institutions are all contested for. However, we believe strongly that the men and women that should be representing the country interests at the national legislature are not doing their work. And that is part of the reason why the EFF decided to partake in the democratic process, even though we were denied. We wanted to replace all of the 15 men and women at the legislature who continue to compromise the people's interests. Now, this is a very sensitive issue that could lead to conflicts in our society. But we have people at the legislature with oversight responsibility on elections. They are doing absolutely nothing to salvage the situation we have in the country. They are seated and they're concerned about their salaries. They're concerned about their benefits. They are not inviting the Elections Commission to pressurize the Elections Commission to do what she ought to do. But if the legislature is serious about helping this process, they should have had couple of public hearings. They should have conducted public hearings, yet our civil society organizations, bring in political parties, pursue the National Election Commissions in a more aggressive and legal way, to clean all the voter roll exercise. But because some of them, almost all of them that are going to elections, that are in the legislature, are going to election this year, most of them, the 15 of them, do not want to be seen as fighting the National Elections Commission. So they rather allow the terrible political situation at the Elections Commission to exist, so that all of them can find a way to exploit the system. The guys at the legislature.
So the question here, Mr. CRC, the question here: do you trust the process? Do you want this process to go on in the absence of a comprehensive clean-up of the voter roll? Do you still want the process to go on?
We cannot circumvent the law. The Constitution, we must have these elections. So we cannot do anything about that. But what can be done is that we can compel the National Elections Commission by law, by the conduct of the legislature, to clean the voter roll to allow the election to go on. We cannot change the law. The law provided we must have a democratic process this term. We cannot change the Constitution. By doing so, we set up a bad precedent. That any autocratic president in the future can neutralize, because the bad precedent has already been created.
Okay, so then you as a force,
the democratic process.
So then, Mr. Gonquoi, how can you reconcile? We are hearing some other politicians or political institutions that are also saying, well, if this voter roll is not clean and things are not done, the possibility of them participating in these elections is most unlikely. So then how can you speak to that?
These political individuals have no fundamental argument, I would say. Because look, the process started was for the conducting herself in a more transparent way. You have your candidate represented. I mean, your Elections Commission nominated your candidate, and you celebrated your candidate being nominated by Elections Commission. If you knew that this process, was not a process to go to, you shouldn't have nominated your candidate to the process. Now that you have a candidate nominated by the very Elections Commission, all we can do at this stage, it made you agree fundamentally that the process to go their nomination, certificates on Facebook. They celebrated that they are now candidate. It means, you have some respect for the process. Now that you're celebrating that you're a candidate in the process, in short, is that the fact that these political parties nominated their candidates, and they celebrated, they presented their candidats, to the people. In fact, yesterday, some of the candidates, some of the political parties, they started having endorsement. They started having endorsement of that candidate in a different county. The fact that you're doing that, it means you acknowledge the fact that what is at stake is for us to be able to bring pressure to bear to allow the voter roll to be clean before voting day, which can be done. It is not late to be done. It can be done. If all of them are the legislature who are going to election, they can bring that pressure to bear. They can ensure that the voter roll is clean.
Is it possible you change your locations? We're having a little break-in. I'm not sure whether my audience they are getting the reception. If you guys are getting in loud and clear, somebody can give me a thumbs or just give me an indicator there. Is it possible that you can switch your location? So then,
you getting me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Location. Good. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying these political parties that are making the complaint, they are already endorsing their candidates. They are already celebrating that they have a candidate nominated. So the problem is not the fact that they are not going to the process. They are going to the process. What is required is for us to bring pressure to bear to allow the National Elections Commission to clean the voter roll so that we can have an utmost transparent electoral process. That's what is at stake. It is not the fact that we shouldn't have elections. They have agreed
The political parties have all agreed that we must have elections because it is a constitutional requirement.
So,
so we cannot
the law. So it seems to me here, from what I'm hearing from you, CLC, there is a divided junction with EFL, the economic freedom fighters, and that of the political institutions, be it the 4 collaborative party and the 11th Rainbow Coalition. There seems to be a divided junction or intersection here.
We do not share similar political manifesto with these political parties.
Once upon the time you form an alliance in the protest, which I conclude or which I can come out to say, well, then probably there was some sort of a common understanding.
No, coming together to form an alliance on the particular agenda. The protest you talk about, the protest was the people agenda, and the EFF in the back doctrine is the people revolution. So because the protest was the people agenda, we were obliged to form a part of it, and that's why we formed a part.
So do you think you are on the right side of history by forming such what you consider as the people's agenda?
We were on the right side of history.
So why you got out of the process?
Because the alliance that organized the protest is not a political party. It's not a political party. We are pursuing a political party status. Now, when you pursue a political party status, you are government in waiting. And to be a political party, you must have a clear manifesto. You must have an agenda.
Yeah, but Mr. Gonquoi, Mr. CRC, you knew out of that. You knew the agenda of those people. I guess you read documents before even committing, before even providing resources to be part of the process. So you knew that, correct?
No, but it cannot be your argument. Your argument should not be that we knew their agenda. We knew that they are separate institutions. Some of the political parties that form part of the protest, we do not share the same ideology, same manifesto. We declared it a socialist political institution, clear by our write-up, by our attitude, by our doctrine. But what I'm saying to you, the protest was just an event. It was not a continuous process. Now, being a political party is a continuous process. The protest was just a one-day event. Now, looking at that event and the meaning of the event, the objective of the event, it was just prudent enough aspect our doctrine that we form part of that process to put the government feet to the fire to achieve what we wanted to achieve. Now that that event has come and gone, we are focused more on providing democratic leadership for our country. And that's why we are pursuing the registration process, at the National Elections Commission. That's what I want you to stick to.
Okay, now the process is ongoing, and so if these elections go ahead as planned under the provisions of our constitution to be conducted by NEC in the absence of this voter roll not being clean, will you or will EFLL validate the results?
Validate the result? Look, I've always said, if the political parties that are going through the process, we are not political parties yet. The Elections Commission referred to us as proposed political party. All of the documentation we have received from the Elections Commission says that we are proposed political party. And the fact that we have that certificate, that we cannot talk deep into electoral matters until we can get our certification. In fact, it is just in July 31st that the Elections Commission mandated us and mandated all superintendent by law to allow us to exist in the 15 counties. It is on July 31st of this year that the Elections Commission by law allow us to exist in the 15 counties. So I'm saying to you, even though we've been existing in the 15 counties, but it is July 31st that the Elections Commission allow us to exist by law in the 15 counties. So we cannot talk deep into electoral issue because we are not completely a political party here. But if the current political actors that are going to the elections accept to go to the elections, we will have no issues, but rather we will acknowledge, the result, because the political party that are going to elections, it means by consensus, they agree that the process is free and fair, and that's why they are going there. If we were in the race, if we were in the process, I can guarantee you that we will pursue an aggressive process that will allow the Elections Commission to clean the voter roll. Because we are not there, we have a little power to pursue the Elections Commission because we are not stakeholder of the process. We are not stakeholder of the process. The political parties that are going to elections are stakeholder of the process. They have a bigger stake in the process. They need to go to the Supreme Court. They have, their candidates at the legislature. So they need to pursue an aggressive political path that will allow the Elections Commission to clean the voter roll. If we were in the process, Mr. Zia, I can assure you, we would have been much more aggressive to ensure that the voter roll is clean. But because we are proposed political party, we have no major stake in the ongoing crisis. And that's why we cannot speak more, than the opposition political party will do or the candidate himself will do. However, we can acknowledge through the public space that we do not trust the process. But enough for the political party to trust the process and go to the process.
Somebody listening to us here will say this guy is in two places at the same time. Okay, now, so let me ask you this question here. Is the presence of EFLL, is it visible throughout the 15 political subdivisions as we speak?
We are visible in the 15 political subdivision. In fact, by the regulations of the National Elections Commission, you must at least have 500 members in 6 of the 15 counties to be able to meet the requirement. We have submitted that data already to the Elections Commission. So we are visible. In fact, to go to convention as a political party after certification, that means you have to draw your delegate from the 15 county. So we will have delegate coming from the 15 county. Now, you said somebody listening will say the guy is on 2 sides. We are not. The EFF in South Africa, for example, I will give you an example in South Africa. There are 44 opposition political parties in South Africa. Go and check the listing. 44 opposition political parties in South Africa. The EFF is not in alignment with any of the 44 political parties in South Africa. The EFF is a political party by herself. Now, by our internal framework document that we signed, we are not to align with any political party that do not share our manifesto. So we don't align with people because we feel that we have to align. We are not going to follow the Liberian pressure because somebody believes that we have to come together to remove whoever president that is in power. No, you must agree with our manifesto. That's why when you go on our website, we put our manifesto on our website. We have a 150-page documents that outline our vision for Liberia that is on our website. So you go on the website, you download our document and read. So because our parent institution in South Africa does not in any way affiliate with the 44 political institutions in South Africa, we have that framework document that says we should remain independent, not for the ruling party, not for the opposition political party, because we are independent political institution and a government in waiting. So we must pursue that independent path. So I'm not here to please anybody who comes from any political institution. We are not here to please them. We are not here to speak for them. We have to speak for the EFF. So every time you listen to me, speak to you or speak to the radio or speak to Liberians across the country, I speak for the institution called the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia. I do not speak for them because we do not share the same political ideologies and manifesto. I hope this is clear. I hope this solidifies the curiosity of many Liberians out there who believe we should be singing the song of the other political party. No, we will not sing the song of the other political party because it is very likely possible that we can have a presidential candidate in 2023. It is very likely possible. Now, we can have the presidential candidate in 2023. So we do not need to sing the song of the other political party.
What is the skill? What is the skill level of that? We might have a presidential candidate in 2023. So what is the skill when we are to put that on the skill? What that skill would be like?
I would say 50-50.
50-50.
We have a 50-50 possibility of having a presidential candidate. And that's the reason
why it seems like from what I'm getting signal here, it seems to me that there's a vetting process ongoing, and who might potentially be the presidential candidate by EFL.
We are working with potential Liberians across the world. I could not be the face, or I could be the face. There are many variables. There are many, hello?
Okay, much better. So I get
hello?
Hello, I'm getting that much better.
Good. So I'm saying to you, there are a lot of qualified Liberians, that could take the state. Maybe we could go to convention. Maybe we could go to convention and somebody could win the position of CRC in the future, and that person could become a presidential candidate. I don't know what happens in 2023, because we have a convention coming up immediately after the party registrations, and then we will have a conventions in 2023 to determine our next course of actions, given the fact that 2023 will be a general and presidential election. Anything is possible. So do not expect me. No Liberians should expect me or leaders of the EFFL to speak for the rest of the other political party when we are all pursuing the same goal. Once you become a political party,
including the
most
highest office of the land,
you are government. Yeah,
I say including the most higher office of the land, the possibility of you now
including the most higher office of the land. Once you become a political party, it means you are looking at the most highest office in the land. So nobody, for obvious political reason, should have that inclination that we are to be speaking for the rest of the other political party. No, we will continue to speak for the EFFL because it is a political party that we represent. Remember, we are the only political structure by history to have a greater global alliance. We are the only political structure in the country to have a global alliance. We are members of, sooner or later we'll be a member of the World Society Political Parties. So we are the only political structure with that continental outlook, with that global outlook. So there's nothing absolutely impossible that we can have the candidates for 2023.
Let me ask you, Ty, is there besides you, because you were the one that expressed your political intention, which was a good thing, but besides you, is there any other individual who is a member of EFFL that is on the ballot comes this December?
We have people, because we were not opportune, and
no, when you say, let's get this right. When you say we were not opportune, we were denied, you just didn't meet the timeline set by NEC. That's the point.
I mean, let I continue to say we were not opportune, because if we were opportune, then we would have met the guideline. So we were not opportune to be a part of the process. But there are other members of the EFF who are contesting, who left the process and joined other political parties because they want to contest. That's normal for Liberians.
Where were their loyalty be? If any of them were to be elected, would they be supporting
it's normal for Liberians. No, it's normal. It's normal for Liberian politicians. They are not institutionally disciplined. So many of them who decided to quit the process and go contest on different political party tickets, we can only wish them well. We can hope that they will return.
Is that against
a political institution called
Mr. Gonquoi? Is that against your policy?
It is. No, it's totally, we don't support people cross-cutting from one political institution to another one. That is a display of greed for power. This is an arrogance, to do so. So we don't expect people, to do these kinds of stuff. You need to remain consistent with your political institution. We have to discipline ourselves. Look, our politics should not be about power. Our politics should be about, fomenting policy that will enhance the governance process of our country. But many people in Liberia believe when they don't have an opportunity in these political parties, then they run to the other political party. So it is about power. For me, and the rest of a lot of people who decided to hold on, it is not about power. It is about remaining with that new continental struggle, that will change the political outlook of our country. And that's why we are where we are. But there are other people who decided to go. And I'm very certain, that after the registration process, we are planning to have our lawyer put into place a very strong law internally into our institution. Perhaps it might appear as something and that will contravene, the political freedom of people, but we're going to have people signing behavior bond, going forward. When you say you are a member of EFFL, you must be able to stay within the institution. I mean, we allow people to sign behavior bond because the way in which Liberians jump, from one political party to another, it's alarming. I feel that people are not joining political institutions out of conviction. People are joining political institutions because they want opportunity to be heard or because they want opportunity to be seen on the ballot. And this is wrong. We can't use politics as a commercial tool.
So let's get
should
there.
not be a commercial theater. Our politics should be theater.
All right. Okay, let's listen to this here. One of our interactions that was in 2019 when EFL was really doing one of our conversations. I want you to listen to this.
The violence in the war with people are over. We are no more fighting for independence. We are African. We are independent nation. We are fighting for economic sovereignty. And to fight for economic sovereignty, it doesn't in any way require, violently removing president from power or introducing war. It requires us sitting around the table and introducing ideas that will enhance the life of our people.
Absolutely. I sometimes wonder whether Liberians are mistaking politics with religion or whatever, or they do not know the difference. But before I let you go, there was incident that took place last week. We usually here at LPR, we usually incite ourselves. We provide a platform to talk, but we also on an obligation to tell the people the truth, what they need to know, not necessarily what they want to hear. This guy, the deputy minister designate of the Republic of Liberia by the president, allied Zulu, visited the university campus, and the student vanguard, sub students, militant or Kavi, or whatever they call themselves, they interrupted, and he was escorted, or he was forcibly ran out of that place without his speaking. I see that as observed. It was a mistaken one to the university.
Okay, CLC, let me just bring you here. That was one of our interactions when you made it crystal clear that you do not support anything that callings on the sitting president to step down. Do you still stand by that today?
Well, there is no constitutional breach that has been established for which I would say let go and forcibly remove a sitting president. There are procedures. And when we spoke, I told you there are procedures upon which a sitting president can be removed. I will take you, for example, to the current situations, the passport scandal, the looming passport scandal that we issued a statement against. You read our statement that we pull out. Look, there are clear procedures laid out in the Constitution that we must follow as people. We can't continue to revert to removing president by going in the bushes. We can't continue to revert to removing president by launching war. We must follow the democratic process. The Constitution requires that when there is a constitutional violation by the president, the House of Legislature should conduct an impeachment proceeding. So if the president of Liberia is in error for committing crimes or is in breach of the constitutions that he took oath to respect, the lower house, let me put it this way, the legislature should conduct a process that will remove the president from the office, not the violent process. I and the EFFL do not support any violent removal of any president because I could be the one to be president tomorrow. I will never be happy for somebody to say violently remove me from office. The people in opposition, none of them, if they are president today, they would not easily accept anybody violently removing them from power. So let us continue to respect the law. We can remove as many presidents we want to just by using the law. We can remove as many ministers by using the law. I remember during Mr. Salih era, I'm not even knowledge of Mr. Salih, but I remember when Mary Broad were being considered a non-governmental material, it took the legislature to take that decision. And at some point, the president decided not to send Mary Broad back to the city hall. So if we as people wants to move our country forward, we have to utilize the law. There's no need to circumvent the Constitution of Liberia. By doing so, we will only revert to our dark days. And our dark days created a lot of pain for us. Many of our children, many of our brothers and sisters who are in the street today, some of whom are riding motorbikes, some of whom have resulted in being armed robbers. It is at the direct result of our ugly past. We shut down our education system. We utilize a gun to kill people. We use a gun as education materials. We can't continue to pursue that path. No matter how angry we are, no matter how aggrieved we are, we must continue to pursue the legal means of solving our problems. So there are ways in which we can remove those barriers. There are ways in which we can remove anybody. We must continue to that path. The legal means of solving our problems. There are ways in which we can remove those barriers. We must continue to use the law. Maintain a position. We have not changed on that position. We continue to stand by that position.
Okay, so let's get it here, deal or no deal. There is a consequential throughout the 15 political subdivisions, including the very county you wish to have contested, Mount Gibby County. As far as you are concerned, how many candidates so far on the ballot in Mount Gibby County?
We have 7 candidates on the ballot. We were 8, and then I'm out. So we have 7. I'm told the other candidate, Moba Jagoli, did not make it. So right now it's about 7 now. I mean 6 because Moba Jagoli did not make it as well. I just got that information yesterday that he did not make the list. So the former principals of BWR. So the fact that Moba Jagoli did not make the list, I did not make a list, and there's 6 people in the race now in Magibie County.
6 people. And my guess here, if I can make an educated guess here, my guess, you know all of those 6 individuals that are contesting, correct?
Well, I know some of them, and I don't know some of them. Some of them being in the public space for some good time. Some of them are currently in the public space. Some are new to the process, so I don't know all of them.
You don't know all of them. And you also alluded that the current folks that are there now, they all need to go. Let's get that right. Is that correct?
The current folks, that are there now, I would say do not deserve to be in the legislature.
Is that an
interpretation?
Is that an interpretation of my question? Is that yes to the question?
I said they don't deserve to be in the legislature. I'm admitting that.
Okay. So now the alternatives would be those that are contesting right now, who are the new folks that are in. So it means Dr. Ben Fofana, who is also there, those folks did not need to go there. So Mr. CRC, let me ask you, any of those current new ones, have anybody reached out to you as the CRC of the Economic Freedom Fighter or the EFL as a whole to get an endorsement?
All of the candidates in the race in my Gibby County have reached out. All of them. They reached out. But like I said to you, I'm very disciplined institutionally. The institution has not allowed us to do so. To come out regular to endorse anybody. The second thing I want you to listen to this very carefully is that we subscribe to a particular friendly manifesto. And most of these people in the elections in Magibie County, we are yet to see any of them subscribing to our foreign manifesto. We are yet to see any of them with a clearly written agenda for the people. So we are not in any hurry to endorse anybody. And secondly, like I said to you, we are a political party coming up. We don't just jump up making decisions because we have to always.
But you are not currently on the CLC. You are not currently on the ballot.
not being on the ballot does not in any way suggest that we should just outrightly go support somebody who we know in our heart would not do well for the people.
So are you saying out of the 6 that are on the ballot, not even a single individual that captured the imaginations of EFL?
I said to you, we haven't seen any written documents from any of the people in the elections. Explaining it to the Liberian people and the people of my country.
So meaning, in a nutshell, the very people that you don't want them to be there, then they could potentially go back there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying not because I don't want people who served the country before without any legacy to go back to the legislature. I will be coerced to make a decision that you even have some of the worst people elected in the legislature. Look, Mr. Zion, for people to desire to vow for public office, you must have an agenda. I mean, this is a mistake we made with George Weah and the current leadership. During 2017 elections, they refused to submit any clear written agenda to the Liberian people. At some point, George Weah refused to go for public debate. And we all celebrated, Liberians celebrated this act, this undemocratic act. They celebrated it. Citizens came to power before they drew out their plan for the nation. Where are we today with the plan they drew out for the country? Where are we? Where are we?
No,
somebody want me to go support somebody without a clearly written agenda? We will not do that. The people in my Guinea County who are contesting for the senatorial seat, they have not done themselves justice. They have not done the people of Liberia justice. There's no clearly written agenda that they have presented on any forum. I was there. The president of Liberia organized a forum under the Ever Women Blooding Forum. They organized it in my Guinea County. Most of the candidates did not show up for that debate. I was along with another candidate called Gabriel Bidell, who showed up for the debate. Most of them did not show up. And you want us to be encouraging such attitude in a democratic space? No, we can do that. So, not because I don't want Ben Fofana to win, or I don't want Nuka to win, or Ava John to win, or somebody else to win, I will have to go make a terrible decision.
But my guess here, CRC, my guess here, you will be voting as an individual, correct?
I will be voting as an individual.
Have you decided where that vote gonna go?
I have not made that decision yet. And if it compelled that I will not have to make the decision to vote, then I will not do it. Because I'm yet to see a convincing statement of what these people that are in the race should do for the Maghreb people and for the people of Liberia. What will be the attitude? What will be the conduct in the legislature? We are concerned. We can't continue to select people to national office because they have fan faces, or because they got money. We can't continue to do that. We must begin to elect people who by themselves understand exactly why they want to go to the legislature or why they want to be president. We can't continue to repeat the mistakes of 2017. When people who wanted to become president has come to debate. And I'm saying this to you. Those who are wanting to be senator in my county, they all boycotted the PUL debate in my county. And I was there with Mr. Gabriel Bidell. And you can call, the PUL, coordinator in my county, to verify.
The repetition.
They were all disappointed that these people did not show up. And we were there. We made our case because we have a clearly written agenda of what we want to do for the people and what we want to do for Liberia.
The consistent pattern calling the name of Bidell simply suggests to me probably he could be the one to get your vote.
Well, we haven't made that position not because he attended the debate suggests to me that he deserves a vote. Why if he has only performed at the debate?
So then this is a very little sticky one here. Hopefully we'll get this out of you at some point in time, even if not today. But other folks that are listening now say, yeah, there you go again. These are the same politicians come under the disguise as game changer. Now he's not qualified. He's not part of the race. He's not coming to make a choice. At the same time, you are saying the folks that are there, they all need to get out. But you can even make an argument as well to say out of the 6 person, that even one person that somehow meets your criteria. Somebody out there will say it's just all about himself and his organization too.
It's not. And I think that person will be making a very flimsy and lazy argument. What is difficult for these men and women who want to represent the legislature, who want to represent Maggie County at the legislature? What is so difficult of them writing a common ideas to express what they would do for the people? I put out this challenge. As most of the candidates, I mean, you're a journalist, as a PRO coordinator, I have put out this debate on many radio stations in the county, challenging these contenders to come up clear, to say what they would do for the people of Maggie County and what they would do for the people of Liberia, and what would be the conduct at the legislature. We are concerned. We need to know. Not because I want to make a decision, then I should be fool to make a stupid decision. I'm not going to be that stupid to make a stupid.
So if all goes wrong, and like you said, basing on if we give birth to the same old people that are there, it's based on your argument that they all need to go, and you fail to tell us or to direct or where your support going to be going, should we then hold you responsible as well?
So then hold the new people who want to be candidates or who want to be leaders, hold them responsible for not expressing their common ideas on paper. What they would do, if you cannot express what you will do on paper, then I'm not sure you're going to do anything in the legislature. So then hold them responsible.
Are you willing to share your? Are you willing to show?
In the Western world, you are in the Western world. Nobody in the Western world want to be a leader without having an agenda. I'm sure. I mean, nobody will listen to them. So what is difficult of these people, some of whom are claiming to have master degree, some of whom are claiming to have bachelor degree? What is difficult for them to come up clear and say, this is what I would do for Maggie County, and this is what I would do for Republic of Liberia at the legislature? So what is so difficult?
So then what is the difficult aspect here? CRC, I'm not sure, you are a young guy, you still have a journey to go. If you cannot make a definitive position and to give a sense of direction, even if they are not doing it, and we happens to, like you said in your word, to get these same old folks, to get them back to Capitol Hill, then who is doing all the service? Are you willing to share your idea with some of them? Are they willing to incorporate that, or you just keep it until at some point in time when you are satisfied to contest?
We printed, and I will say this to you, I continue to refer you to the journalists in Maggie County. We printed 10,000 of our manifesto. We placed that on our flyers. 10,000 of our manifesto. We placed that manifesto across the county for people to read what we would do. All right, for people to read what we do for Liberia, for people to read what we do for Maggie County. That manifesto was distributed across the length and breadth of Maggie County. We have gone to all of the radio stations in the county, putting out a challenge for some of the people who want to be our leaders to put out a clear agenda of what they would do for the people. We've gone to some of the debate center, some of the attached forum. We have led team of young people to cohere some of the leaders to come up clear with what they would do for the people. They have not been able to muster the courage to come up clear with an agenda of what they would do. So you don't expect me to continue to push them against the wall. We are already pushing them against the wall to do so that we are opportune to read exactly what they would do to allow us to make decisions, definitive decisions. But the fact that they are not willing to do so, both the old and new candidates, I continue to say this to you. Ask the lawmakers, ask the journalists in Maggie County. None of these people has been able to come up clear to say what they would do. So at least we can have a piece of paper in our hand that we can read. For heaven's sake, you want to be a national leader and you cannot put your thought process on a piece of paper. And Mr. Zio, you expect me and the EFL to just jump and make a decision? We are not going to do that. We will not.
Okay, so let's pivot a little bit here before we wrap it up here. We have 4 collaborative parties under the banner of collaborative political party. It is the Liberty Party, the ANC, ALP, Unity Party, the former ruling establishment. We have another 11 under the banners of the coalition, Rainbow coalitions, and the governing party, the coalition of the governing party 3. Now, the two groups, which one do you see as an alternative to the CDC-led government?
We have not seen. We are a political institution. Like I said to you, you will not do that to me, Mr. Zion. I told you there's a possibility that we can have a candidate in 2023.
You are telling me, and you are trying to execute me politically here this evening, and I'm quite sure most of my audience are in sympathy with me. Now, your party is not on the ballot. Yeah, Mr. CRC, this is not funny. Your party is not in the ballot. You are not buying into the ideas of this government that is in place right now. That, of course, I have talked to you numerous times. You have been very consistent, which I love, and I like to see honest people. Yet you are unwilling to support another institution. So where are we going? Do you prefer the CDC-led government, or is that what you're telling me?
The collaborating political party you are referring to. I mean, they were having a candidates against me. We would have been competing against one another in my given county. It is just unfortunate that I'm not there. I have friends in the collaborating political party, and they said to me on many times, on many occasions, that Gonquoi, I mean, you are fine, you found spacing, you are fine, gentlemen, but we're going to compete aggressively against you because we can't allow, that Manema syndrome for South Africa to enter our politics in Liberia. And giving you
is it because of that stigma? Do you see that as a stigma on you?
I mean, it's not a stigma, but they are clear. The reason why they're doing that is because they know that there's a possibility of having a candidate on the EFL in 2023. So because we don't agree politically, and we are all looking at the higher office, we are all looking at the presidency, we are all looking at legislative seats. So in 2023, we are hopeful that we can have some of the 3 Liberians on our ticket in 2023. We are hopeful that we can have another 15 Liberians on our seat for the Senate in 2023.
Okay, for discussion, for discussion purposes, I don't know, get me to this point here. I don't care, because with the proliferations of political institutions that I know and you know in the country, that there's not a single political party can get that magic number 51% to secure the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. And from what I'm hearing from you, that's
wrong notion. That's wrong notion. We have to stop this. We have to stop this. And it is because of the wrong notions that criminals are associating with people of characters to take power. Because we believe that, one political party, cannot fight to win the presidency. So because we believe
it's not possible. It's not, you know that it's not possible. If we were to tally it, it's not possible. There is no way that without an alliance to get the magic number that is required.
Mr. Zion, it depends on how you market your ideas. It depends on how you structure your messaging with the people. There's a possibility. Nothing is impossible. There's a possibility that one political party, on the basis of the candidates you present, the credibility of the candidate, the sincerity of the candidate, the messaging, the conduct, could lead a single political party coming up right to win the presidential election. Because we have marketed this falsehood, simply because criminals and former criminals and incoming criminals, marketers falsehoods that it's difficult for one political party to win a particular presidential elections. So people who commit a crime in imperial regime come to associate with people who are pursuing a political power. For example, people like Brent Johnson and the rest of all people who kill people, they use that opportunity to affiliate with people or characters. Now when you come to power, because you're associated with these criminals who come to power, you have no moral grounds or political will to fight them. Because you utilize the popularity as well to come to power. We must be able to disabuse people's minds of these kinds of political messaging or political chicanery. We got to be able to disabuse people's minds.
So let me
single political party.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and I need a definitive answer. I don't want any statement of political correctness. You politicians, that this is how you guys behave. So what I'm saying to be hearing from you now, there is no possibility of EFLL even now and in the future to form a collaboration with any political party, correct?
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We do form political collaborations, but those political collaborations we have to agree with our phony manifesto. And then we have to have the same idea. Then we have to form political collaboration. And then in our collaboration, we are clear. Our enemies will have to be the enemy because it's a continental political struggle that we have launched on the continent. So we are not prepared to have EFL dissolve in Nigeria. We are not prepared to have it dissolve in Ghana. We are not prepared to have it dissolve in Malawi or Kenya. No. We are clear. We are clearly a continental revolutionary political structure. So the way we do things is clearly different from the way other political parties act. I'm saying to you, we can form a collaboration, but that collaboration will have to agree with our foreign manifesto.
Do you see that? Do you see that coming?
If that would be possible in the future, I don't know. There are other political institutions here in Liberia.
So then, so what becomes of those folks that are left now that have gone to other political institutions? Will you still welcome them home?
When they come back, like I said to you, we are putting out a behavior bond. Our legal group working on a behavior bond that will take to the convention. So when you come back to join the EFF, you sign a behavior bond. Now, regardless of any situation, you will remain with the EFF. And so when you leave, then it means that you can never join the EFF again in your life.
Okay, that behavior bond, is it applicable to the process right now or after this process?
Like I said to you, because people left us in a way in which they did to join other political parties to run, we are having our legal team to work on the behavior bond that will take to the convention coming out shortly.
So let's go into the playbook of that behavior bond. Let's say it is put in place for implementation, meaning those folks that are left, they are no longer part of EFL.
Once you level in a way, no, laws are not retroactive. So we will find a way to accommodate them if they come back. But if you come back, and then we realize that you want to pursue the same attitude that we aggressively deal with you in line with the code of conduct and the behavior bond you sign.
Okay.
We have to treat the country in a more aggressive way. Leaders who want to make impact on the life of the people will have to be honest to themselves. We have to be very aggressive. We can't continue to play politics with the life of the people. We can't value the people's vote and don't value their lives. The reason why you see people jumping from one political party to another, it's not because they believe in the future of the people. It's simply because they want an opportunity to be heard or to serve. We have to change this attitude and allow the people's voice to be respected and the future of the people to be respected. We can't put the people in the ring and honor the sun, doing electoral processes, and after that we dump them, and we turn our back on them, we care nothing about them. We pass all the kind of criminal laws. We go to the legislature. We don't revisit some of the laws that are existing that undermine the people's future. We don't do those things. We are purely a revolutionary political structure. We're going to do things differently. So every time you talk to me, you see the consistency in my tone and in the tone of the EFF. We don't change our approach to issues just easily. We are clear. Nobody, nobody. As we close with you, nobody should go to public space without having an agenda. Nobody. We should know.
Okay, what we having a little sticky up there. Just bear with us. We're going to be wrapping up yet. Are you there, Mr. Gonquoi?
We are the other countries in Africa, for heaven's sake. We can continue to pursue this path. We must now become to refine the democracy, redefine ourselves as people, find the broken pieces. What have we gone wrong? What insincerity are we bringing to politics that we have to change? Those are the sticky questions that we will be asking ourselves. And that is a mistake we want to correct. The insincerity in the politics, the respect for the people's vote. Do you think people are supposed to be talking people, taking them to come to the register of the vote? Do you think it's supposed to happen? No, we should not be talking people at the stage. But look at our people. You think that the people value the people, they'll be talking them and putting them in a pickup truck and taking them to the villages? You will not. But they only value the people vote and not the people future. And we want to change this. And that's why we're changing it in a more aggressive and honest way. I know Liberians will not like us for the way we do things. Some Liberians will not appreciate. But come what may, they will get to understand that we represent the greater embodiment of sincerity and honesty in the political space of our country. When Jerry Rowland started, taking aggressive step in Ghana, not everybody appreciated Jerry Rowland, but today Jerry Rowland is an icon. He's like a celebrity. They respect him and celebrate him in Ghana. They adore him. What they criticized before is what they are celebrating now. Africans, it is in our DNA. We don't appreciate people when they want to change a particular situation or a system that we enjoy. The current political system we continue to pursue in Liberia is fundamentally based on dishonesty and insincerity. And we'll take the economic freedom fighters of Liberia to rebrand and change the image of our democracy and allow Liberians to have a fair picture of what it is for political parties to be doing.
Okay, well, that's our mandate, the Commander-in-Chief, CLC, the Economic Freedom Fighter of Liberia, Mr. Emmanuel, CLC, Emmanuel Gonquoi is on the line from Liberia here this afternoon. So before we wrap up here, let me just make sure here to see whether we're going to get a change in tone, whether they're going to be a second thought. What you make of, what you think going to happen with all of this whole ballad that is unfolding, trucking of people from one point to another. And like you said, we got tons of messages, voicemail to what is unfolding. In order to balance this new, we are extended an invitation to the National Election Commission. Director Flomo promised to appear on this network. We yet to see that happening. What do you think is the bigger thing that is hanging over all when it comes to this 2020 senatorial election?
I maintain that the voter roll should be clean. Those who are in the process of going to these elections, they should put the biggest pressure to bear to allow the voter roll to be clean. But again, I continue to say this, Mr. Zion. We have 15 senators going to the elections. And because a lot of people, benefit from the sports system in our country, they do not have the ball to rise up, to force the elections commission or the voter commissioner to do the right thing. But I think the still get issues, that is a hand currently is to make sure that the voter roll is clean.
The voter roll is clean. Okay. Well, Amen. So we want to thank you so much here. Hopefully, if there's nothing happened, there's no certainty in politics. Anything can happen. Anybody who listening to you this evening from Mount Gibby County that is contesting, perhaps they can call you tomorrow, tonight, and say, "Hey, this is what I have on the docket. This is my vision for Mount Gibby County." At that point in time, you're going to have a complete revision, correct?
When you present a vision, we will take the vision to the Central Revolutionary Council of our institution. The Central Revolutionary
Is it a militant, the EFLL, is it a militant group?
We are a political institution, radical political institution.
A radical political institution. When you say radical, yeah, can you a little bit expand on that in terms of how your radical ideology or ideas? What is that? Do you I see you guys wear red beret. That's one of the way to identify that. And people, including myself, always frowns on this sort of dress code. Brings to memory some of the things, the heinous crimes that were committed during the civil crisis, and that was exactly the dress code or the dress type of those people that committed, inflicted severe pains, like you rightfully say. If you see folks wearing that, don't you think it's a sort of a flashback to Liberians?
it is on the flash drive. We are wearing that red beret to commemorate a legend, a revolutionary legend, in President country, President Thomas Sankara. And that red beret is his honor. And that's why we are wearing that red beret. We wear that to symbolize his legacy in championing Pan-Africanism in Africa. So that's why we are wearing that red beret. So nobody should see that as an amateur, poster or dress code. We are doing that to remember this great man. That's what we're doing. Now, in the radicalism in the sense of the way we deal with issues, how poor we are. Like I'm speaking to you right now, I'm poor. I don't care about how, but that's why I always say, I'm not a guy who want, to appear on Facebook to get 1,000 viewers. No. And because I know people don't like people who talk the truth. So the way in which we address issues, the way in which we are frank to tell people the truth, and demonstrate the radicalism, the radical nature of the way we approach things. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about violence. You know that, of course, we don't support violence. We're a very serious democratic institution, but we demonstrate radicalism in fairness, honesty. If we want to do something, we say we will do it. We don't want to do it, we say we will not do it. We don't work under pressure. We don't allow people to organize propaganda to put under pressure to do anything. We don't want to do it, we say we will not do it. We want to do it, we say we'll do it. That's how we operate, and that's the radicalism I'm talking about.
Okay, so now let's square it out here before you go. EFL is in red barrel. The CDC auxiliary group is in the blue barrel. You have the Solidarity Brigade group is in the black barrel. Who know another group going to be coming and going to be coming with green barrel, the purple barrels, and also on, so on. Can you tomorrow come back here and tell us that what they are wearing is just not a good thing, or what? Do you accept that? Do you accept what they are doing? The sort of proliferations of these militants or radical groups. Do you endorse that as well?
Those who are wearing green beret, black beret, yellow beret, they all borrowed from a revolution that they do not understand. They're borrowing something. If you ask them why are you wearing the beret, they will not tell you the meaning. I just told you the meaning of wearing the red beret. Well, we are honoring a legend in Africa, Thomas Sankara. Why are they wearing the beret? Why are they wearing the blue beret? Why are they wearing the black beret? Who are they honoring?
You are giving as you now today, you are giving justification to your actions or to what you are doing. They will come here too and give justification to whatever they are doing. Will you accept that?
That's why I said they're borrowing something they don't understand. So because they know that we have a justification for wearing berets, they will find a way to coin a justification. My challenge that justification would meet no reasoning.
Okay.
That justification would meet no reasoning.
Okay. Okay. In the event things change here and that, in the event when EFL as political institutions, or when they have Revolutionary Command Council, or the political wing decides which way to go in terms of their political weight, please let us know, and we're going to have that talking point here again.
Thank you. We will always do as usual. We are good at issuing statements, but Liberians are more used to hearing my voice. So sometimes, we don't have a reading public. Almost every month we issue statement on issues in Liberia. Almost every month. But the fact that sometimes people don't hear me talk, then it's all EFL solid. Because Liberians will not find pleasures in reading press statement, going to the newspaper to read. They only just want me to talk. Most time we have our page. We have the Economic Freedom Fighter Liberia page. All of the press statements that we issue are always posted on our page. So let people find way to always go on our page to find statement that we issue. Like the statement on the passport saga. I have to share that with you before you got to know that we have issued a statement on the passport saga. So we will continue to do what we can do every time, because I know that many Liberians are interested in hearing us. So every time we issue a statement, I will always find a way to share a copy with you, so that you can have access to our statement, and then perhaps you can read it on your platform to allow Liberians to know that almost every time we're very engaging with the issues in our country.
Okay. All right. So what's our take-home statement here before we let you go, Mr. Gonga?
What I would say to Liberian, thank you for taking up your time to listen to this interview, about 1 hour, 16-minute interview. Very, educative. You try your best as always to pull my legs to, to get something out. But I think, succeeded. Because no journalists succeed easily in getting me to go the way they want me to go. That's not a possibility. So let me say thank you for the interview as well. We will continue to do what we can do. Liberians should not expect us to sing the song of the rest of the other political parties. Because we too, as a political party, we are government in waiting. There's a likelihood and a possibility that we can have a candidate in 2023. Thank you so much.
Did I hear you say you're going to be making an endorsement this week?
I said Liberians should not expect us to sing the song of other political parties. They should not expect us to sing the music of other political parties because we are government in waiting. But our status as a proposed political party, there's a likelihood that we can have a presidential candidate in 2023. So you don't expect us to be praising, stand-up bearers of other political parties. You don't expect us to do that. You don't expect us to celebrate the conduct of other political parties because we too are pursuing the higher office. Thank you so much.
All right, that's CLC of the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, a group calling itself Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia. Emmanuel Gonquoi on the line. He was aiming at a big political office as a senatorial race for Mount Gibby County. That did not happen. Apparently, they did not meet the timeline set by the National Election Commission. I am Alfonso Zeyenso of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This is by gospel artists. This is a new release. Hopefully, we're going to be having the individual here, Louis City. Stop the rape. You guys who do not want to tie your journey, you need to stop that sort of wickedness in Liberia.
So when you rape, you will go to jail. When you rape, you will go to jail. When you rape a girl, you might give her AIDS. When you rape a girl, you might be affected.
What sort of desperation is that? You're just spoiling people's children, spoiling the future of our country. It is ridiculous. These people, they need to stop, and real concrete action is reality required. Stop it. You're not made a musician, and not make a song.
Your face, red as a crown. So sorry, we are your future.
As the conversation continues, tomorrow, Wednesday, the Liberal Progressive going to be here, Samson Branto. Thursday, I will be hosting our political talking point will be directed in the battleground of Grand Bassa County. Another female candidate, political life is on the line. Madeleine Harris, one-time leader of Uniboa here in the U.S., is currently contesting the heavily contested race in Grand Bassa County. Nyombli Kanga Lawrence and the ruling establishment Bezonga Finley. And that's the voice of Louis City fading away right here on the diaspora informative news outlet Liberia Public Radio. Time check here is 2:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's how we're going to be drawing down the curtain here this afternoon. To all my viewers and listeners, wherever you are in Liberia, USA, and parts of the world, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. It is our job to hold these people accountable. You know, there was was a little drama this morning. I was on the T-Max show in Liberia, and he was on a very good talking point. As usual, sometimes he throws the red meat out there, but this morning he was providing information. Voice allegedly, it happens to be the voice of the former passport director to Wamplo. And Liberians and everybody were calling to make their input, which of course I did as a Liberian. I put in my word, but unfortunately there was a clashes between Senator Sando Johnson and myself, because I feel Sando Johnson, they are all responsible for what is ongoing in Liberia. He's a dishonest guy. He's corrupt as it is. So these are people that are supposed to wait. And I just only told him as a lawmaker, the time he would take to be calling early morning on a talk show, he's supposed to be making phone calls with his colleagues to find a way and people that did this and bring them to book. And he was very, very much demanding in names calling. But I'm going to give him the fair share. There's going to be a special program here. And this comes to the point we were talking yesterday, how intolerance with these politicians. There's a guy who was talking caught on tape that you take government money, you can do anything you want to do, nothing want to come out of it. And then you want to hold people accountable. It's ridiculous. And just by calling his name, his blood was boiling. We sit down, we talk to George Weah, they insult, they do whatever they want to do. And so they do not want to be held accountable, but what they want to flip the coin over, they should hold people accountable. But I'm going to give you the fair share. I'm going to do a special program here where we're going to look at the lifestyle. Some of these people, people, the Sando Johnsons, they are people who are embedded with corruption. So it is appalling and stunning to see the opposition to bring home, to embrace those people, to see that they're going to perfect change. That's just a ludicrous. All right, but I'm going to give him the opportunity and bring him here as well, so that we can have a conversation. Hopefully, he will accept my invitation. Until then. Our take-home song by Minister Joseph Baez. Hallelujah. We must give him the higher praise.
Giving hallelujah. Giving the highest praise.
The issue of that passport, the government of Liberia need to address the situation. And the law is within the 103 men and women in both houses. They're supposed to be calling people to hold them accountable as to what went wrong. And there he is this morning, early morning, he on talk show when he's supposed to be calling Idot Wayne, Akaras Gray, Thomas Fowler, Joseph, the Oscar Cooper, the Yombi Kanga Lawrence, for them to figure out a way or get to the Judiciary Committee and put into a plan to get answers for the Liberian people.
You never change.
The guy said, we're working, we sit down in America. See, that's how disparate comments that are used. You're sitting in America, they are eating Kentucky fries. And so if even a Somi are working Kentucky fries, I don't have fish to fry in Liberia. Somebody, he doesn't even know who he's talking to. These are the people that wage war and damage the future of our country. Only for our Liberian people, only for people to politically reward him. He was in the representative for years for Charles Taylor. He's senator. He's now seeking to re-election, and there's nothing tangible. All because they want to be protective of the evils that reign on the country. And then he doesn't want any Liberian who disagree with him to speak. And because in America, you don't know what is happening. Who told you? We ourselves get investment in Liberia. What make you think that you the only person that you should have a voice? You as a lawmaker, I never saw a lawmaker here when something happened, the very first thing they do, they retreat, they do a consultation with their fellow Congress or senators, and there's a piece of legislation, and they try to put an investigation in place to get answer. Just sit on Facebook all day, just call yourself lawmakers, And then you want to, Sonny, you need to sit and let us talk and be a good listeners and see what the suggestion the citizen will be making. And then you can perfect that into actions, into decision making, and work across the aisle. Get all the people. One political party can do it, but you're all said down there, you don't talk to one another. You're holding the country hostage. So you're no exception to what the national government is doing because of your irresponsible attitude. You're only your and only your. And then you don't want us to talk? You are playing on the sinking ground. I will exchange you the invitation, so hopefully to you appear. So you will tell me the money that government money, any kind of way it can be treated and nothing can come from out of it. Is that what a sitting senator is supposed to be? If you did that in America, the next day the media will bombard you and potentially you could resign. But those things that don't happen, and you take advantage of the media industry because of the poverty in the country, and you abuse power, but then you turn around, you want to poke in the eyes of people. Don't get me wrong, the issue of that passport is wrong, and I want to condemn it to the strongest term. But Sandra Johnson, you don't need to talk inside because you walk, talk like corruption and dishonesty, deception. You help to wreck that country off. You're still presiding over the wealth of Charles Taylor. The investigation is still ongoing today. No end and no tay. So that's what I was so disturbed for the opposition to embrace such a person. What is going through their mind? That is so ridiculous. Have a pleasant day.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda